Congress meets to count the Electoral College votes on Wednesday and formally confirm Joe Biden's win. Over 100 House Republicans are planning to challenge that certification. Georgia Congressman Barry Loudermilk is one of them, and he joins me now, Republican from Georgia. Sir, good to have you with us today. Explain to me why. Thank you. Why do you believe that this is so important? You've obviously we've got people supporting the effort that you're making, and then others who say that it is that it's misguided. What do you say to them?
Well, one of the things I have to address, Martha, Representative Clyburn, just in the last segment, referred to this as shenanigans. But what he failed to mention was when Republican presidents have received electoral college votes, Democrats, it's standard operating procedures for them to actually contest these. They did it in 2016 with Donald Trump. It wasn't shenanigans to them then, even though they had nothing to base it on. Look, mine is based upon evidence that has been compiled. I have been looking into this for a long time because I don't take this lightly. The state Senate Judiciary Committee held hearings, a set of hearings, and came out with a recommendation that was voted on by that committee that recommended that the state legislature convene and decertify those electors based on the evidence that they compiled. When that report came out, that made it clear to me that there was a lot of errors that were done in this election, and we had very little confidence in it.
So you just heard from the Secretary of State's office, Mr. Sperling, just a short time ago, went sort of line by line through the president's contentions about problems that he believes happened in Georgia. And he worked very hard to debunk all of them in that news conference just about an hour ago. What do you say to those contentions that he said that people weren't voting from out of state? He said maybe they found 2 incidents of people who did things like that, and handfuls here and there, but not enough to make a difference. What do you say to him?
Well, it's interesting because we have sent over massive amounts of personal testimonies. I've got over 200 sworn affidavits of people of irregularities. I talked to people on the phone who went to the polls to vote, and they were told they had already voted absentee when they didn't, and poll managers wouldn't allow them to cure their ballot and vote. We have numerous accounts of irregularities. Now, there's one that I'm trying to get background on, but I was told by a state senator that the Secretary of State's office sent out 8,000 letters of people who voted in the November election and warning them not to vote in this one. I mean, that 8,000. This is the thing that we're seeing is it has been a black hole of information coming out of the Secretary of State's office. We send over massive amounts of reports and incidents. We hear nothing back. All we hear is, oh, there's no mass fraud. But we're talking to the people who are signing sworn affidavits of irregularities, of mismanagement and fraud.
And those affidavits and the hearings were very much on the minds of some voters that I spoke to yesterday. They believe that there was an issue here. There's no doubt about their conviction that that's what happened. But why didn't these things hold up in court? And why was it that we saw in many cases the people who made those contentions in hearings and in affidavits were not brought before the court to make them in that environment where they might have been able to make a real difference?
Well, and you got to keep in mind that we have several cases from the Georgia Republican Party that aren't even being put on the docket. The clerks are slow walking these things to try to run the clock out. We have so many lawsuits that haven't even gotten a hearing yet. So there is still a lot out there. Look, and I don't take this lightly at all. I'm not doing this to make Donald Trump president of the United States, even though I would like for him to be. This is about the rule of law. This is about fair elections. And I do not have confidence that the Georgia electors truly represent the voters of Georgia and how they voted. There was just too many unanswered instances of and allegations of fraud for us to go forward with this.
Yeah. Well, you're not alone. We hear a lot of it. Thank you very much, sir. Good to have you here today.
Thank you, Martha.